All right, we roll. Yep, here we are. Wasteland, dog, van. How did I get here? Well, frankly, after years of working, all myriad different things, money made, paid, assets acquired, still have most everything I ever had. In fact, I've really just improved a few things. I realized I was kind of sick and tired of basically serving what I consider as the unworthy and more importantly, the ungrateful. I don't mind working when the money's really good, but there does come a point when you're working, and most of society is basically geared for all of you to be fashionable failures, where it's buy this, overprice that, interest rate this. I've never really needed all that shit. Just to be honest, I've never needed it. I mean, as you can hear out here in the wasteland, obviously there's a handful of people down in the canyon over there having a grand old time at the shooting spot. I don't really have problems out here. And that's the one thing I could say that, like, the truth be known, with the rare exceptions of the few good things that humans bring to the world, society does have its advantages, don't get me wrong. But yeah, when I think of people, I just think of problems. And you'd think, that whole thing of being a good, hard-working man and blah, blah, blah. Most of that's all BS. You know it's BS because how many people, the moment they can get that Social Security check or the lotto, they check out. They're like, I got my money, fuck it now. And that's why sometimes I look at those situations where you hear about some bum in like San Francisco getting like $650 and a couple $250 in food stamps and some crappy medical. And I got one buddy up north, this is 10 years ago, he was getting around $1,000 per month. From just, I have the tisms, faking crazy. You start to understand that. And I think a good reference to understand that from is the factor of, like, when I was a garbage man, was I really appreciated for the service I brought to society? I mean, sure, they're like, well, you got a paycheck. Yeah, what else? I mean, shouldn't people who contribute and keep society going just get a little bit more of a thank you? I mean, we say we'll be thankful to our military, thank you for your service. No, you say thank you for the service, but then the reality is you don't give a shit. Now, mind you, I did have some customers that I'd get good tips. And that was really cool. But in general, when I did that line of work, no, it wasn't much respect. When I cleaned up a meat plant for a number of years, definitely no respect because there's no prestige or status in that. For instead of just faking crazy and getting on welfare when I could have, well, how much respect was I given? Then we take this. There was the 2 years I was helping my friend take care of her hobby farm ranch thing. Part of it was I was on unemployment. And before I went OTR, before I went over the road, kind of a little inner peace back then. It's about when my one buddy at 30, he faked crazy and he got on the government. And I imagine he's still on that system, living just fine. No. When I went OTR, I was doing a job that most people can't handle. Or I should say they wouldn't bother because they go, oh, it's just too much effort. I'd work anywhere from 50 to 70 hours a week. I prefer to work as many hours, maximize the money, burn out my 70 in 6 days. And I generally found it was the only time we ever saw any sort of thank you for trucking was during COVID. Occasionally someone would have a flag or a sign, thank you drivers for keeping food coming to our town. I remember I talked to a relative and they said, well, they say they're thanking truckers. I'm like, yeah, but what does that really do for us? Thank you doesn't really make my day any better. My wages didn't go up. I mean, when I was out there during COVID, risking my life effectively, at least that's how people perceived it. Did I get a bonus from the government? No. Other fucking people that, oh, I lost my job because you forced me out of it. Oh, give me a paycheck. And then those people on the stimmy checks got it for how long? Now, what I found, and this is generally what it is, like I said at the beginning of this, I got tired of like this attitude that it was my job to help and serve the unworthy, which is bad enough, but even worse, even after you help them, the ungrateful. And I found this when it came to women, in the sense that women, no offense, but you guys don't really bring much to the table anymore. You bring a warm, wet hole, and maybe you pretend that you cook. I can cook, and there's lots of ways to get off, so what the fuck are you really bringing other than complications? Friends, well, a lot of friends were good friends until other friends came along. And then it's kind of like, what level of this or that? And then you get the call down the road. I used to refer to myself as the dark solution, in the sense that, when they talk about, well, I got my black friend, some racist from the deep south. No, this guy, he's my black friend. It was like that. And I remember one of my friends called me up, and I said, nobody loves you anymore, huh? And he's like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, I don't know. I only get these calls about when everybody else has abandoned people. But hey, let's party all the same. Because I didn't give a shit either way. I was just like, hey, we have a good time. Have a good time. I know when it came to family, well, I'm going to be honest, it was sort of the same way too. I only got two people. One of them is in blood related to me. He's just kind of a cool guy occasionally. He's a little irresponsible, but he's kind of an all right guy. And a sister that's all right. Everybody else in my family, they could fucking be worm food and I wouldn't give a shit. Just based on the level of effort that they've put in, after all the years I put into, this or that, I just got tired of the effort. And one day I just looked at it from this perspective. It's like a mutual garden. And you're both supposed to put some effort into it. Well, one day you realize you're the only one watering it. You're the only one keeping it going. And they don't even really appreciate any of it. And you're just like, well, fuck it. If this is the case, let it wither. And funny thing about that is, and this goes for friends, family, and other groups, when you finally just sit down and say, let it wither. Let it wither on the vine. Let me put the equal amount of effort you've put into this. The ball's been in your court. You've decided not to play for ages. I'm sick of wasting my time saying, hey, you want to play ball? No. These people will come back later. Well, I haven't heard from you in a while. I'm like, yeah, you never call. Well, I'm like, look, man, that's your choice. You do what you want to do, but I'm tired of putting effort into people. And worse even than that, the idea from some of the family members or previous associations of friends that I'm supposed to fucking care about these people after basically dead zone being, shelved for ages. So when they get really super fast on the trigger, that's when they start jacking off with the gun. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I just think it's funny. It's like, are you really even target practicing when it's like, bah, 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 bah. It's just kind of gay. Ammosexuals. But I think about it from time to time. And it was about when I probably had one point I had 280K just floating. So I bought the lots over there in the western coast. And then I decided to do a remodel on my house. And I don't know, if I hadn't had that house, I don't know if I would have quit trucking at the time. But there were things in my business that really got under my skin. People would talk shit. I remember somebody was spreading a rumor that I looked like some sort of sex pest. And I'm thinking, there's a lot of things you can do to a man, And I remember this one lady says, he looks like the type, but he looks like he's smart enough to get away with it. What? These are my coworkers. I've never had any illusion. Like, my skills are above what most people can comprehend when it comes to what I do. I actually like what I do and I'm good at it, and I'll go the extra mile. But I never deluded myself to think that these people, in any which way, no matter how many stupid social gatherings they'd have at any company, the company's, driver appreciation. Fuck you. It's a barbecue and some hot dogs. What are you doing, dog? Anyhow, it's one of those things where you put in all this effort and you know that everybody's disposable. That's just the way it is. But, you know, if it would be one thing, if I looked at all the work, all the things that I put into society, and at least there was some sort of thank you. It's like what one guy said the other day. He was talking about these EBT Americans losing their mind about their bennies. Oh my God, you're a fully grown fucking adult that's producing children and you can't even feed yourself. And like, look, man, food banks, whatever. I couldn't care less. But you're gonna sit there and when the gravy train stops, not just maybe say, hey, America, thank you. Thank you for feeding me for the last whole life. No, they're totally ungrateful. And that's really what society is. And that, by the way, that's most people, even the working class. They'll look around and go, you know, if you stop their cushy lives, watch how quickly they all turn into barbarians too. I just thought it was funny. When have you ever received, just as a thought, a thank you note from the EBT family that you're forced to support? Oh, it's never happened? Like, I used to say this line. I shouldn't have to pay taxes for someone's bastard child and their Section 8, their food stamps. If their kid isn't going to mow my lawn while I'm off making money and paying taxes in the system. Like, I'm working a job that's not in the same town where my house is, and then I got to deal with this fucking lawn, have somebody mow it. Because if it doesn't get mowed, they'll say, oh, it's a weed, it's a noxious weed thing, fire hazard, blah. I get the fire hazard part. But let me see if I got this right. The same system that was happily taking money out of my taxes then has the nerve to say, hey, they might just maybe look at the tally and go, oh, yeah, this guy actually pays in. And maybe send somebody over to mow his fucking lawn. Make his life just a minute bit easier. But no. The only thing, and this is another thing one of my relatives would say when she was dealing with real estate business, vacation rentals, she's like, everybody, and I'm like, everybody just has their hands out. Here, hand me money, hand me money, hand me money. To the point where even if you have the greater capabilities to do things that are incredible, what you will end up doing is you will remove yourself from greater society. Because you begin to view society as nothing more than just one more problem you're going to have to deal with. And every time you take away like that connection, like I'm not saying you burn the bridges, but some ways you do. You just say, I don't want that bridge for people to cross to come and fuck up what I'm doing. And that to some degree explains a lot of my minimalism. I did the quote unquote right thing, even though I knew I could have got away with basically, like, I'm nuts. I'm fucking clearly out of my goddamn mind. But I'm actually sane enough to do incredible productive things. Like the fact that I could show you how to have a house in 1 year, or at least the land, and then you put a trailer on it. You have to be better off than, what are they talking about, 50-year mortgages now? I'm just saying. No, I'm a weird miracle of sorts. But I don't see the point in being part of a society that has everything, has a handout 24/7 for me to put money into or for me to help. But then when I've ever needed anything, tough love, motherfucker. And that's a lot of it. I was a good man that realized that being a good man is really fucking stupid. I'm not saying be evil. I'm just saying minimize down, serve yourself, otherwise you're serving others. And that's part of how I got to where I'm at, where I'm perfectly happy as somewhat of a hermit. It's me, a dog, a van. I've got my 75 channels over the airwaves. Got good internet here. Listen to my shows on the earbuds. And then, not to mention the audiobooks as well. Got my video games. Simply walk down to the river when I want to take a bath. Top off my jugs. Go into town occasionally, fill up my drinking water. Get whatever food I need. and I have no fucking problems. Just like in the forest up in the Northwest during the warm months, or when they're passing through different areas, just pick an area if the region's the right temperature, right time of the year. I got no problems. And honestly, I kind of had this level of inner peace in my early 20s when I lived in the woods for 4 years. But I was still stuck, like a lot of these young people, on the programming I was taught. Well, I should do something with my life. I should get it together. If I'd known how good trucking would have been back then for me, and just simply investing, skipped buying the house, just bought a couple pieces of property, one down here, and then one up in the Northwest, and just had an RV. If I'd known that retirement mindset when I was younger, I just think of the years I would have saved. And, there were some good times with some friends. Used to be some of my family was pretty all right. But now, like I said, there's only 2 people in my family I even care to talk to. And that's the same goes for most of society. I don't see society as a positive for the most part. I just see it as a bill, as a regulation, as like let's just say I'm bathing in the river. I'm butt naked taking a bath in the river. And some asshole comes along like, oh my God, I'm breaking a law. No, I'm just some man getting clean. Say I take a crap in the woods. If a bear shits in the woods, does it make a sound? I don't know. I do. Is it, ooh, God. Like the people say, how could you live off like anywhere from $100 to $300 a month? And really it's on average 150 to 200. Just it depends on how much I feel like drinking or partying. Some other shit. And the answer is I've already got everything I need. At this point, everything else is just complications. Unless it's something that's going to make my day, unless it's technology that's actually really going to make my experience better, I don't need it. And I wish I would have known this when I was in my teens. And you know what? I kind of did know it. That whole being segregated from the rest of the school because, you take Ritalin, you pissed off the teachers, so put them in the portable class. I should have listened to my mind back then. I had it right. There was us and there was them. It's trying to fit in or trying to be normal that I found actually kind of fucked up and slowed down my life. And like I said, I'm not a hermit. I'm not. But I'd be damned if the most time I deal with people that is like, there's some good conversations, don't get me wrong. There's some good people. But most people are just fucking trash. Just trash masquerading that they're actually people. And I'm not even saying I'm a great man myself. But at least I know what I am. Just a laid back nomad. Anyways, y'all take it easy. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know this name. All right.